Shalom. Make sure it's high. Shalom. This is Truth is Everlasting, Lion's Den. I am Yahweh Sop. I camp out with Lion Den, Hawan, Ben Yashua in Jacksonville, Florida. But first I have to give a prayer to the Father, to the Son, to the elders, to the archons, and to the women and children around the world in Paleo-Hebrew language. Kal, Halayim La Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Ha-Rokah Kodash Mahamath, in the name of Yahweh Shai, in spirit and holy and in truth. Double honors to the 144,000 chosen elect. Double honors to the apostles of GMS. Double honors to the apostles of Lion Den's camp. Salutations to the archons who are on the four corners of the earth. And to the women and children, Shalom. Okay, things are getting crazier out there. But, there's an old saying, keep your eye on the money, right? Because once the fake counterfeit Federal Reserve note crashes, rest assured that when they bring in that cashless society worldwide, it also is going to crash. It says here, America is falling apart right in front of our eyes. So, the title of this lesson, Babylon is falling, right? That's in the direction that it's going to, okay? Sooner or later. And the Edomites cannot stop it. So I'll place a little bit of the video and then we're going to scripture. Here we go.
People are saying that America is falling apart right in front of our eyes.
The banking sector of the United States of America is about to collapse. There's no question in anybody's mind anymore that that is about to happen. Now, if you don't know that, it's not because it's not true. It's simply because nobody in the mainstream media is talking about it. All economists see it. Everybody in the banking system sees it. Everybody's scared shitless. They're just not talking about it. Here's what happened. Number one, a building in Midtown Manhattan that sold for $382 million in 2006 was just auctioned a few weeks ago for $8.2 million. You heard me correctly. $382 million. It was auctioned for $8.2 million. The reason for this is occupancy in major office buildings around the country has dropped tremendously. Everybody's working from home. It's more effective for companies, so why would they have commercial real estate they don't need? So they're not leasing these office buildings anymore. And these office buildings have literally, across the country, $20 trillion in debt. What happened was the cap rate on these buildings when they were full was about 4.5%, which is what you would expect. That's what you want as a landlord. It's perfect. Unfortunately, because of COVID, everybody went home. And then corporations realized, well, hell, just because I can't see them doesn't mean that they're not doing the same amount of work. Okay, great. Stay home. I'll just give you a tiny little raise so that you can buy some stuff at your house and do business from home. Perfect. Except that what they did by doing that was lower the cap rate with these huge, huge occupancies to just barely above zero. Those office buildings are financed at the old rates of 2%, and they're not making any money. They're, in some cases, they're losing just a tiny bit at 2%. When they have to refinance those loans, and there are $4 trillion of those insanely low interest rate loans coming due in the next 18 months, those loans will be defaulted upon, period. Those buildings will be empty. The banking system in the United States will start to collapse. So the question you have to ask yourself is, do I want my money in the banking system? Well, it's FDIC insured, right? Sure. The FDIC talked about in November of 2022, they talked about something that most people never heard about. I actually watched the video where the FDIC director said, look, we don't want to talk about bail-ins because it'll panic the public, it'll cause a run on institutions, but there will be bail-ins. That's what he said. A bail-in is simply the opposite of a bailout. Instead of your tax money going to prop up the banks like it did in 2008, because they swore that they'd never do that again, they came up with a different plan, bail-ins. And a bail-in means that you go to the bank and you say, I want my $250,000. And they say, no, you can't have it. That's it. It's a bail-in. Now, what people don't realize is that because of the legislation that was passed after 2008, the Dodd-Frank Act, you are no longer putting your money in their institution. According to that act, you now are making an unsecured loan to your financial institution. Unsecured, which means if they can't pay you back, they don't have to pay you back.
Well, there you go. Let me just stop it there. That's to show you how corrupted these bank systems are and how corrupted the Edomites are and the evil and wicked that they are. I want to go to Revelation chapter 14. I really want to read verse 8, but I'm going to go up a little bit to verse 7. And it says, saying with a loud voice. Oops, what happened? Fear Yahweh and give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment is come. And worship him that made heaven and earth and the sea and the fountain of water. Right? The word that goes out to our people, the so-called Negros, Latinos, and speckled birds, right? Because the Edomites ain't going to worship Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Verse 8, and there followed another angel saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. That's like they want to do this digital, invisible money global. As you can see, global, every country around the world wants to participate, wants to follow that belief system of destruction. Right? They already have it in Mexico. Right? So, we are getting closer, man. We are getting closer. I want to go to Isaiah chapter 21. Give me a minute. Isaiah chapter 21. I'll start with verse 8. And he cried, a lion, my Lord, I stand continually upon the watchtower in the daytime, and I am set in my word whole night. Right? Watchtower, that's what we do day and night. We're watching the internet, everything that's going on, so we can come out and read the judgment that the Edomites cannot stop, cannot destroy, and cannot control. Yes, they can turn off the internet, but the word went out for many years now, right? Since 1960. That was when, it was 1960 that Abba Bibbins in New York, okay? It jumped from there to 11 West. It stopped there, and then it jumped to GMS, and it grew like wildfire around the world without even taking a plane. How you like that? Okay, verse 9. And behold, here comes, Myth, a chariot of men with a couple of horsemen. And he answered and said, Babylon is fallen, and all the grave image of her gods he has broken unto the ground. Yeah, it's not going to be, they're going to realize that they've been lying to themselves. Even 2/3 of our people have been worshiping these statues or these fake heathen gods, right? They're going to be very upset that they've been lying to themselves. First they've been lied to for all these years, all right? The 501c3 incorporated Christian churches telling them lies, never telling them the truth, okay? I want to go to Jeremiah chapter 51. I'll start with verse 1. Slakia. Thou said Yahweh, behold, I will rise up against Babylon and against them that dwell in the midst of them, that rise up against me a destroying wind. Yeah, you want to, these wicked Edomites are getting ready to come after us, right? Okay. Verse 2, and will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her, and shall empty her land, for in the days of trouble they shall be against her round about. Yeah, well, what you got? Russia, China, Venezuela, and what else? Mexico. Wait, I'm leaving something out. Cuba, right? I mean, Iranians, right? I mean, it's going to keep on growing. Verse 6, flee out of the myth of Babylon and deliver her men his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of Yahweh's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. Oh, yeah. It's going to get serious. It's going to get ugly. Verse 7, Babylon has been a golden cup in Yahweh's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore, the nations are mad. Yeah, they have gone cuckoo for cocoa powder. They want to imitate. They want to be just like the Edomites, right? They can't snap out of it because in their hearts they are wicked. Verse 8, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her? Take palm for her pain, if so be she may be healed. Verse 9, we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go, everyone, into his own country. But they don't want to let us go, right? They keep saying, well, if you don't like it, leave. No. You leave. And everything that you stolen from us stays here, right? Go to the rocks, only with the clothes that you have on, but they're not going to do that. For her judgment reaches unto heaven and is lifted up even to the sky. Yeah. Witness all over the place. Verse 10, Yahushua has brought forth our righteousness. Come and let us declare in Israel the work of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, our power. And that's what we're doing. We are letting the whole world know to get ready. Because when Yahweh the Father sends Yahushai, our King of Kings, Lord of Lords, 10 feet tall, dark-skinned Afro with a host of angels, our brothers also, right? Our army of angels is going down. Revelation 18. Give me a minute. Revelation 18. Ooh. Here we go. Start with verse 2. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and has become the habitation of devils, and the whole of every foul spirit, and cage of every unclean and hateful bird. Tell you, Scripture makes it loud and clear. It's going to get ugly. Verse 3, for all nations have drunken of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. And the kings of the earth, right, the presidents, have committed fornication with her. Right? That's how come they don't want people to see that, what was that guy's name again? That has all, that they live him in prison. Because he has all the information of every government and every corporation that's been sleeping with little kids. Oh man, it doesn't come to me now. Slovakia. And the merchandise of the earth are wax rich through the abundance of her delicacy. I want to jump to verse 11. And the merchandise of the earth shall weep and moan over her. For no man buys their merchandise anymore. Hmm? Yeah. See, the Edomites that live in America that are in power, they know that this is going to happen. That's how come they have their bunkers and cities under the ground, because they believe strongly that they can come back up once everything is done, right? But that's not going to happen. Verse 12. The merchandise of gold and silver, the precious stones, and of pearls, and fine linen, and purple, and scattered, and slick, and scattered, and all thy wood, all manners of vessels of yoke, and all manners of vessels of the most precious wood, and of brass, and iron, and marble. Since they were so happy, so excited to take everything, not only here, but around the world, right? And now they want our soul, right? They want to upgrade all of us, and they want to own us, right? Because, they don't want nobody to be transforming to that spiritual power, Superman power, right? That was verse 12? Yes. I want to go now to Revelation 17, verse 4. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scattered colors, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abomination and filthiness of her fornication. Yeah, that's America. You see that the whole world wants to be, even in the islands, you'll see everybody imitating America. You ask them what you want to be when you grow up. I want to be an American. I want to be white. That's crazy, man. When I went to visit Aruba, they have McDonald's, Tony Roma, Burger King, Kentucky. What's it called? That? Not Kentucky. It's a Cuban fast food. It's called Pollo Supremo. Yep. Yes, sirree. I want to go to back to Revelation 18, verse 6. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her double according to her works. Whoo, boy. In the cup which she has filled to her double. Man. Verse 7, how much she has glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she said in her heart, in her mind, I sit as a queen, right? And am no widow. I shall see no sorrow. Okay, well, scripture says different. Look, verse 8, therefore shall her plagues come in one day. Whoa! Death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is Yahweh's power who judges her. So yeah, a lot of them are going to go hide in their bunkers in their underground city. That's okay. After everything is done on the surface, Yahweh Shai, the host of angels, and the 144,000 chosen elect with Superman powers are going to go down to the ground, right, to those bunkers or those cities, and we're going to go, hello, okay? Here we go. I just hope and pray that I'm one of them, of the 144,000 chosen elect. Verse 10, standing afar, all for the fear of her torment, saying, alas, at last, that great city, Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. Boy, it's going to take only 1 hour. All these years that you've been preparing, right? America. Well, all these high-tech, rest assured, they have some things we have not seen. High-tech technology, laser beams, and flying planes with control, that fly with, it's a drone, right? And I'm sure they have these what they call super soldiers, right? So yeah, we're gonna need some serious power. We're gonna need Yahweh Shai. I want to go to Isaiah chapter 47. Watch. Isaiah chapter 47, verse, let's start with verse 9. It's going to go down. But these two things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day. The loss of children and widows, they shall come upon thee. Woo! In their perfection. Wow. For the multitude of thy sorcery, witchcraft, the pharmacy, and for the great abundance of thy enchantments. Yeah. Many of our people are under the influence of substance from this wicked Edomites stuff. I can only put it that way, okay? Verse 10, for thou hast trusted in thy wickedness. Thou hast said, none sees me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it has perverted thee. And thou hast said in thy heart, in thy mind, I am, and none else besides me. Okay, all right. That's good to know, that the Edomites are brave and bold, right? They're in control of everything. Let's see, verse 11. Therefore shall evil come upon thee. What? Thou shalt not know from when it raises. And merchandise shall fall upon thee. Thou shalt not be able to put it off. And desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. Wait a minute, I thought they can control everything. Verse 12, stand now with thy enchantment, and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherewith thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be thou shalt be able to profit. If so be thou may prevail. Yeah, give it your best shot. Verse 13, thou art weary in the multitude of thy counselors. Yeah, now you're going to go to your little wizards, right? Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon thee. Yeah, that three-eyed thing is going to become a thousand eyes, a thousand on top of a thousand. Okay, they're going to freak out. They're already freaking out what they see that the three eyes doing in space, right? Wait till it gets here on Earth. I'm going to leave it with Isaiah 40, chapter 48. Then start with verse 20. Go ye forth of Babylon. Flee ye from the Chaldeans, right? Those false prophets, to put it in other words. With a voice of singing, declare ye, tell this, utter it even to the end of the earth. And that's what we're doing. We, the Hebrew Israelites, are all over the world, claiming the name of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, telling the destruction that's going to come to this wicked world, to this wicked kingdom. And of course, everybody knows it, right? That it's going to be America, because she's the one that the whole world wants to be like, okay? Say ye, Yahweh Shai has redeemed his servant Jacob. And this is going to happen. Look already, this was video, 4 days ago, okay? So things are moving faster. 2026 is around the corner. Rest assured, right, that things are going to get worse and uglier. I hope that this was edifying, and with that I'll say, Shalom.